Let's talk about this really controversial herb called Lobelia. So why is it controversy? We're going to talk about it. I love this herb though because it is a powerhouse for healing. What does it do? Let's jump in. So this herb has actually quite a few different minerals like vitamin C, magnesium, this type of thing. So you can get some good nutrients for it. But what everybody likes it for is its healing properties. So it has something in it called lobelia. Lobelia is it's an alkaloid that actually goes in and has been known to help with cognitive support. It helps with neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, dementia. It has been known to help with ADHD, memory loss, and that type of thing. So that's derived from this plant. Super helpful, right? Just have to know how to use it safely. So this plant is actually native here to North America, and the Native Americans used to use it for quite a few things. It used to be called long ago, when it was first discovered, Indian tobacco. So that ought to give you a clue as to how it's going to kind of help support the body and what parts it's going to help with, right? What exactly can lobelia help with? So lobelia is actually an anti-inflammatory, and it will actually help with those pro-inflammatory diseases and cytokines. We learned about cytokines and a cytokine storm when COVID hit, and how the body can kind of go like dominoes when organs start having problems and inflammation just takes over in the body. Well, this plant can actually kind of stop that from happening or help prevent it altogether in the body. I'm not talking about COVID, to be clear. I'm talking about the cytokines and the cytokine storms because it's a great anti-inflammatory. Now, the other thing that this plant does, it is really good for respiratory support and asthma. So if you combine that together, you have your anti-inflammatory and you have respiratory support, you know a little bit more what this herb is going to target. It can target the parts of your lungs that need a little more support. It can actually help as an antispasmodic, specifically in the lungs, and it will help with bronchial tubes to open a little more so that there is way more breathing in airways. This is how it really supports asthma. So those who have asthma ongoing can support their lungs a little bit just by using a small doses of this as they go. There have been a few people that have used this in its very strong format to help pull out of an asthma attack. You really have to know your body well and know how to do that, but it is possible because that's the magic of the work that this herb does on the lungs. So it does work a bit like a stimulant in the lungs, and that's how it opens up all the bronchial airways, right? The other thing that this does is it's also an expectorant. That means it's going to loosen up phlegm and help bring it out so it doesn't get stuck. This helps open the airways more, and this is how you're able to breathe a little bit more. So that's another way in which lobelia helps the body, specifically with respiratory. I really like what it does for the lungs, and it does more, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about what it's going to do for the brain. So we talked about the lobelia and how that can help support brain cognitive support, memory. It also helps with ADHD. So it will go in and help, kind of like other stimulants will do for ADHD, and calm those effects and help a person to be able to focus more. Outside of ADHD, it still has great cognitive effects on the body and the brain and helps with memory recall. So this is really good for those, of course, with Alzheimer's or dementia, or those who just need that little extra boost, who may have some sort of brain fog, right? It also is a very good herb, probably my number one for those trying to quit smoking. So it has an effect on the body, specifically the lungs, kind of like nicotine does. It is a stimulant, so you can see how it would do that, and also goes right to the brain and gives the brain that I got what I needed type feeling. So you can stop tobacco by helping to use lobelia instead, replacing that. It is something that you can smoke, so now you can see how you can get it directly where you want. The other thing I like about lobelia is for a person who has smoked tobacco for a long time and they're quitting, or they have quit, they want to clean up their lungs. This can assist the natural process of detoxification in the lungs. So your lungs work different when it comes to detox. We hear about detoxing other parts of our body, other organs, the liver, the kidneys, and spleen, lymphatic. Lungs are a little different. They have their own detoxification process. It's sort of a closed system, but this can kind of help your body make that a little better and easier. So in a roundabout way, it does help clean up your lungs a little bit and do a little bit of repair for those who have done a lot of damage to their lungs. So I like it. It is not something you would use by yourself, but it is something that will help with that. The other thing that lobelia can do is it helps with depression relief. So if you do just a little bit, it's really good to help with depression because it can have that euphoric state that will give to people, especially if they smoke it, believe it or not. And it really helps that relaxation from the nervousness and anxiety when you get the dose right. So how do we take this herb? You can do it, the leaves, in tea form. You just want to make sure that you do a lower dose. Dosage is everything for this tea, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But we want to make sure that when we do this, I mix it with other herbs. That way I have this plus something else. So maybe I'm looking for it to help clean up my lungs and do respiratory work, and I'll mix it with peppermint. And maybe I'm looking at helping with depression and something to chill, and I'll mix it with holy basil. So whatever I'm doing it with, I don't do it by itself because you want less amounts of this. A little bit goes a long way. That's how you can do it. So you can do it in a tea. When you do it in a tea, you want to steep it covered at least 20 minutes before you extract and strain out the herbs and drink it. The other way that you can do it is you can smoke it. But again, it's a blend. You don't smoke it by itself. I blend it with other things. So again, you could literally blend it with peppermint. You can blend it with mullins. You can blend it with uva ursi. There's so many other herbs that you can blend it with. Maybe you're looking for relaxation and you pop some lavender in there. But you're doing it as a blend, and it's a smaller amount of the lobelia. You can also do it in tincture form, and that's an extraction, liquid extraction that's very, very concentrated. Here's the important thing. You do it by the drop, not the dropper full, drop. You can do 3 up to 5 drops for a dose to help with what you're looking to address. No more than that. That's all it takes, because again, this is a powerhouse, a very strong herb that can help heal up the lungs and what you're looking for. Again, I'm just gonna warn, you have to do this in low doses, because in high doses, this is toxic and can actually hurt you. So what can happen if you do too much of this? Well, if you do too much lobelia, it can cause nausea. It can cause vomiting. You don't want that. It can cause the mouth to go numb. It can literally increase your heart rate. And believe it or not, if you do too much lobelia, it will create anxiety because it's a stimulant, right? It can even cause seizures. That's how much of a stimulant it is. So who should avoid taking lobelia? If you have high blood pressure or a heart disease, it may not be right for you. If you're nursing or pregnant, that's a no for you. If you're sensitive to nicotine or stimulants, this is the not right herb for you. But again, getting to know how to use this in the right dose can really help your body on the healing journey. Because what I always say is natural healing is totally doable.